Okay, welcome back everybody. Last video I showed you about putting the rod mechanism in and also doing the hand, putting wires inside, sandwiching them together, and this is what you got, and it still doesn't want to glue on this one side. So we're just going to, now like I said, some of this method you can use contact cement. Such as, gluing the wires down, you could use the glue gun, and then after that you could use contact cement. It just takes longer for it to dry, and that, so because of the video and time restraints and all that, and I'm only making a kind of a mock-up hand for you, I am decided to use the glue gun. So I'm going to now show you on how to cover the hand. As I did do, there is another video either before or after this one, probably after this one, where I show you on how I did Frankenstein's hands with cramming it inside fabric, a pre-made, pre-sewn fabric hand. Pre-sewn fabric hand. So you can go to that step if you want to. Now, to use that other method, and I might have not mentioned it, you need to use a thicker wire. Something that's really going to keep the hand in a stiffer position, because you really have to fight with the material, and a weak wire like the stuff that we used in this hand would collapse and bend, and you just would not have success. So just keep that in mind if you decide to skip ahead and use the other method. So let's focus on this hand right now. So I have the fabric here of Frankie, and what I'm going to do is the same method, and I'm not going to do it all here, but it's the same method as doing the body. I'm going to sandwich the hand between two pieces of the fleece that I'm using for him, okay? Or any fleece that you're going to use for your puppet, okay? So I've got this piece here. And normally you would have maybe two different pieces. So here's another piece all ready to go. And basically what I would do is one side at a time. So we're going to go back like we did with the body of the puppet. And we're going to use Super 77 spray. And I would spray it on one half, making sure I get some in between the fingers, which is really important, and all the way around. And then what you would do is put it on the material. So that's why you should have two pieces. Just cut them about the right size. And then what you would do is start, as the glue dries, squeeze it in between the fingers and around the top. And make sure again you don't interfere. Leave some fabric down here underneath. Let it stick out a bit, because you're going to tuck that underneath to hide this piece of foam. Okay, where the rod slides, you want a little piece that you could just simply glue up here and also down here. So keep that in mind, that you're going to cut out an extra portion of material here. Probably cut it bigger than what you need, so you can tuck it in there and hide any foam. So it kind of hides the little area where the rod moves. And so you're going to do that, and like I said, push it between the fingers and all the way here, and now you've got one half of the hand covered. Gently and carefully, so you don't get it on the outside of the material, you're going to spray this side again like the body, spray it around, and we're going to sandwich it. So you're going to lay it on top, and now you're going to attach the material together. Again, leaving a piece out here so you can tuck it under and hide away that little groove as much as you can, and you don't see foam. And then you're going to trim it out. And it's a bit of a task, this method, because you've got a lot of little corners and areas to get into. And that is, something that you need to be aware of. And the gluing part you can do later. And then you're going to go back, like I did with the body, and sew all the way around all these edges using the Henson stitch that I've shown you before in the videos. If you haven't seen that and skip to this step, go back through the videos and find the Henson. It has different names, but the puppet makers usually call it the Henson stitch. And you'll have to do that around each hand all the way around. And the only area that you would not sew closed is here where the rod moves. You would tuck it under and make sure the rod still has the freedom of movement. So that is the simplest way to cover a thin wire type of hand, and without having, you might have to carve it a bit so it's not so square, because this method, unlike cramming it into a smaller size hand, it would automatically make it round. This method, you just have to do some trimming, and I'll show you what I mean. Just some trimming around the edges to make it a little more rounder. You know, straighten out some of the areas before you cover it, so that you can it doesn't look so so square and that. And just trim it all the way around. You might want to even up the fingers if they're a little bit off, like it is on this hand, where again the cram in method, you don't have to worry about that. It sorts itself out because it's in such a tight space. You might want sharper scissors for this method that I'm showing you, trimming the foam, but you get my point. And don't take off too much foam at a time, a little bit until you get it right. If you take off too much, really hard to reverse it. So you need to take your time and just trim it off gently and slowly, and you can already see how that's nicely forming, roundish, and then you can cover it as the method that I've shown you. Okay, are there any questions that anybody has? I should show you here. You can see how round it is and how it's coming out. And that's a method for covering a hand for a puppet.